All right, what's going on, guys? This is how we took a break-even trade today, trading No News Monday. We took two re-entries on this trade because I did have faith in this going to London low, and this wasn't a high probability setup by any means, of course, on a No News Monday. But I did de-risk heavily on this trade, but I did have faith in this going to London low. We ended up getting taken out break-even. I'm more so going to go over this setup just because it shows the trade a little bit cleaner, but I'll try to briefly go over the other one. Again, if you guys want to join the Discord where I talk in there all the time, we're going to do some live trading soon, but live trade commentary where I update my thoughts all the time. This was my entry on the trade and all that stuff. But again, I'm in there all the time doing post-market breakdowns and all that stuff. So if you guys want to join, link will be in the pinned comment and the description. So let's get into this. Starting on the higher time frame, price was still respecting within this 1 hour bearish fair value gap right here. So basically my plan was if we saw continuations, we were going to want to see a push up to the, Friday high, all-time high, and previous day high on NQ, and ES we'd probably see, want to do the same thing. But we had lots of draws lower. We had hourly lows over here. We had London low, and London low was resting right above this 4 hour bearish fair value gap right here. If I zoom out, I'll show you guys this small bearish fair value gap right here. So I wanted at some point to see maybe manipulation higher and a move back down before we continue to push to the upside, something like that. So anyway, off the open, price initially comes up and or right around the time market open, right before market open, we have an initial manipulation to the upside, and then we get a strong push back down. And from this point, if we put the replay tool back on, you're going to see that NQ was ripping heavily bullish at the same time as ES was pushing down. So if we look over at NQ at the same time, NQ was all the way up respecting bullish order flow and heading towards that previous day or that Friday high, and ES was respecting kind of bearish order flow after sweeping that high. So my idea was that if ES was kind of leading bearish, that it was going to want to come down, manipulate lower, potentially take out the London low or at least this hourly low, and then maybe we'd have a bullish SMT off the lows, which would then push price to the upside, which pretty much ended up happening later. So first entry on this trade, I seen that we inversed this 2-minute bullish fair value gap right here. We had a retrace in on the 1 minute. I ended up entering, I think it was on this close right here at 9:45 or one of these closes right here. I don't remember my exact entry. But anyway, I locked in and then I locked out break even pretty fast, somewhere in and around here. I didn't like how price was moving. So then I continued to kind of wait for price to continue to play out. And then we ended up getting our second entry right around here somewhere, around 10:13. So at this point, on the 2-minute, price was respecting this small 2-minute bearish FEG, if you could see it right here. And we had relative equal lows now to the downside. So we had this low and this low, which were equal. So this was an hourly low. We had relative equal lows. And then below that, we had London low resting right above that 4-hour gap. So in my opinion, when we have these lows super close together, I figured price is going to want to flush down, at least take these lows, flush to these lows, put in a bullish SMT, and then push price to the upside. So I ended up entering here off of, I think it was this 1 minute inverse. I think I front ran this inverse or something like that. Entry again was 65.0175, which you see in that screenshot right here. And basically my idea was to move stops to break even after this relative equal low was taken out. But I wanted to see London low get taken out because that was my draw. And that's just what I believed because it was resting above that gap. I figured we would come down, fill that gap, and then continue up from there. So pretty quickly we ended up locking stop loss at break even as soon as we ended up taking out that low. Again, I ran stop loss above the 2-minute gap right here. Or just above that initial 2-minute gap, so 65.06. I gave it a little bit of room, and then I wanted to see London low get taken out. So at this point, stop loss was break even, continued to play out, and then we ended up getting taken out break even right here. And if you notice, at this point, we put that low in, and then NQ at this point was respecting a 15-minute bullish fair value gap. So we actually ended up getting that SMT I talked about. Basically, NQ was leading. Clearly, it put in a higher low. NQ made a lower low. Again, it didn't sweep as low as I wanted. I wanted to see it flush down to London, but pretty much the exact scenario that I wanted to see happen played out. We ended up sweeping lows on ES, which then pushed into a bullish S&T, and then NQ continued to lead, and NQ at this point is heading towards that Friday high. So again, pretty solid trade idea. I did read it right. I just didn't get the full target I wanted, and I did manage it well, so I can't be too upset to walk away with a break even, especially on a no news Monday. I didn't really even plan to take anything today, but again, as soon as we were respecting bearish order flow, we had that manipulation, we had the 2 minute gap getting respected constantly. We had relative equal lows right here, and then below it we had London low resting. I did figure we were going to run through both of those. We enter off the right in around here, around 10:13, 10:14, off the 1 minute, and again, total trade would have been 1.88R, but we walk away with a break even. And then since then, as you can see, price pushed to the upside. It's still heavily pushing bullish. We look at NQ. NQ's approaching that Friday high now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. No News Monday. We'll be back for the rest of the week. We have a pretty eventful week. We have CPI, PPI, and all that stuff. So hopefully we catch some bangers this week. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.